I've got 5 rapid fire questions for you here. So, question number 1, best business book you've read in the last 12 months?
You know, Joe Polish's book, What's in It for Them, was a really good book. It really does talk about how he's built an amazing career from like a dead broke carpet cleaner, drug addict, to having like the most amazing group of entrepreneurs following him and being with him. And it's all about what's in it for them.
Question 2, hottest marketing, advertising, money making tactic or strategy you've learned recently?
Instagram has been one of the things that has just, in my mind, just because of the groups I'm in and people employing it and seeing the results, have been amazing. Short videos on Instagram, getting people to opt into their email list through like a keyword or things like that. And another, Jason Fladlian, who's one of the great online marketers and webinar guys, developed this concept called an e-class, which is an author selling their book or teaching their book online, either on Zoom or on a webinar or a series. And I've been doing that basically on breakthrough advertising with the boot camp. I'm doing one for my book, Over Deliver, the Over Deliver boot camp. And I think it's just a wonderful, maybe not as big a moneymaker as, creating a whole marketing campaign on Instagram, but it's so fulfilling, as an author, and you're an author. So and I know you're promoting your book and you're doing a lot of things to get your book out there, and you're doing a great job. The idea of creating an e-class, a boot camp, a workshop, going through your book, because I'll tell you, I wrote this in a blog last week. I wrote that it's one thing, the difference between thinking about writing a book and writing a book is a big gap, right? The difference between writing a book and getting people to read the goddamn book is a bigger gap. And the idea of people having read the book with you, I'll get anywhere from 60 to 80 people on my Over Deliver boot camp. Man, the insights. I mean, you figure out all the stuff you miss when you wrote the book, first of all. So you get the wisdom of the crowd to tell you what you missed. But then you get like all of these new insights and new things, and they're getting, it's a lazy man's way to read the book for them, because I'll give them all the highlights and I'll do a hot seat with them on some of the things in the book and all of that. So I just love that concept.
What was the most profitable piece of advice you ever received?
I'll go with Jay Abraham. He has a book that's titled this, Getting Everything You Can Out of All You've Got. What do you own already that you can employ? I mean, and what you don't own and what you can get to. So that was the idea of a make or buy decision, for instance, on new products. So always getting everything you can out of all you've got. And people think that they don't have anything. You said that people come to you and say, how do I get new products? How do I find new products? That's a lame question. Take a look at, what do you have? What do you own? What can you own? What can you buy? What can you put in your world? So it's getting everything you can out of all you've got. Some of it you own, some of it you don't own, but you can get to a lot of things.
So what's the fastest way to grow a business in your opinion?
This will sound corny, but, never be the smartest person in the room.
I love it.
It's like if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And I live by that. Also, know who's got your back when you're on your back, I guess, is another piece of that. Like you need to, and I talked about before that it's not just networking and having the most Facebook friends, it's contributing. So my whole life is contributing to Connect, which I said. And what that means is that you always contribute 100-0. So you contribute to everybody 100-0 with no expectation of any return whatsoever. If you live your life like that, you won't get returns from everybody. In fact, you'll get abused a lot. You'll give 100, and you'll get nothing back. But you will get something back, and you'll get a lot back from places you'll never expect, because I believe, and I'm not religious and I'm not that spiritual either, but I believe you continue to put good karma in the world by contributing with value first. Ultimately, stuff's going to come back to you. It just will.
Awesome. Last question. Who was the marketer or advertiser that most influenced your career?
I mean, it's got to be Marty Edelston, because, he was the founder of Boardroom. He, nurtured me and then made me led to me being an equity partner in one of the best direct marketing companies. So he's an obvious choice, because, and again, he wasn't a mentor that told me what to do either. I had to watch him. So I guess it's got to be Marty, but there are some others that have been so influential. Dick Benson, Gordon Grossman on direct mail.
Dick Benson has a book. He's one of those guys that is lost in the marketing world. What's always interesting to me is that the tactics and strategies that are at the forefront of modern marketing sophistication were developed, tested, optimized, and rolled out decades ago. And, those marketers that are looking for the biggest breakthroughs in the modern era of crazy internet marketing would be best served by going back in time, because the stuff that was done back in the day is as elite, as it gets. I look at, still to this day, we talked about Gene Schwartz. I look at Gene Schwartz there, that ad of, doctors discover this, how to live until you're 120 years of age or something. That ad is so remarkably sophisticated.
Yes. Yes.
The amount of triggers, tactics, strategies, just concepts, it really is an example of the pinnacle of what is possible in terms of copywriting, and still to this day. And that ad was written back in the 60s or something.
That's why the Breakthrough Advertising Mastery book, all of these ads, that some of them were written by Gene, but he also studied the ads, all the competitive ads that back then too.
Yeah, he had this other ad as well, and this is probably from the 50s or something, and it was before weight loss was even a term, the term was reducing. And that's how far back that ad goes. And I broke down that ad. And, I was so amazed at the technical savvy, that this man had back in the day. And most of the modern advertising is not at that level that he was at back in the 50s or something,
Yes, exactly.
So, going back in time and studying, what it is that the modern, the masters of old, the real old world, direct response masters were doing back then, is one of the fastest ways, in my opinion, to generate breakthroughs in the modern world.
Agreed.
So if you enjoyed this clip and you'd like to benefit from more monetization secrets, go and register now for Monetization Daily. You can go to monetizationresearch.com to get it. It is a free newsletter that is absolutely awesome. It is delivered to your email inbox, and it contains lots of great monetization tips, tactics, and strategies that you will love. Again, head on over to monetizationresearch.com to get it now.